Hey guys, this is Ricky. Right now we're doing a little call with our group, so I'm going to be setting everything up. Let me go ahead and share the link so we can get people to join.
سامان عندي بسنا تصور بيها
Hello, is anyone there? Okay, this is Ricky. I'm going to be providing the link to the live stream video, just so you guys can have some visual with that. Let me go ahead and I'm going to provide the link through the group me. All right, so let's see. Do we have anyone else on? Right now it's Sean, right? Okay. Let's see. And are you still in San Diego right now? Oceanside, okay, sweet. Alrighty, I mean, as of now, if Sean, are you connected to our, the YouTube link? Have you clicked on that yet or not yet? Okay, so what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to go on if you want to click on that link, I'm going to start sharing my screen. And then we're going to talk about different setups that we have for the week, okay? Tell me if you see it. Ten-second delay, okay. And then try to use Speak. When you guys have any questions, feel free to ask me through Speak, just so I can kind of stop and pause and then kind of answer your questions, okay? Okay, so pretty much what I want to talk about are these few stocks that we have going on. So INBT is obviously going to be one just because of, if you can see the screen, it was a popular trade within our last week, so that was our biggest profit. We were trading it around from the 20th to the 22nd. We were buying in the lows of the 140, and then for those who got lucky, bought in at the 130. And then Zach is pretty much the one that introduced us into INBT and told us that, look, it's kind of staircasing up, as we can see here. And then he says, it's going to have potential. And then, news came out for INBT, and then that's kind of what led to this huge gain. So right when the market opened, the pre-market actually was sitting around, the 240 mark. And luckily, I was able to sell at 215. So for the 1,000 shares that I had, that 70-cent gain on average, helped me make it was like $700 in like a minute, which, isn't necessarily something that I would always want to promote because it's not necessarily always realistic. But luckily, we had a good setup. We bought in low. I would have been fine with, a 10 to 20% gain, but definitely I'm not going to complain about, making $700 in one single trade. So I let the traders know right away with our GroupMe application, and hopefully some of them sold. I know some of them were still sleeping in. So it's kind of what happens. I mean, because these are, if you can see on the screen, 10-minute increments. So within the first 10 minutes, it hit, the 240 to 220 range. And then within, 20 minutes of the market opening, it was already back down below, the $2 mark. So it just kind of shows you that within the first 30 minutes of trading, it's kind of what determined the biggest, the most volatile and the most potential when it comes to trading. So INBT right now is sitting about 152. I would say that definitely, I mean 150. It looks like it's starting to come back down. So if we go for let's say like 1 month back, you can kind of see it did the same thing back here, as in it hit that $2 mark and it's kind of going back down. But instead of kind of holding around that 165 range, it actually just dropped back down all the way to the 150 to the 160 range, which kind of shows up here. So I'd say I would wait until buying until the 140 to $130 range until we start buying back up. But there's definitely potential. Just it looks like, let's say this is a level. So this is level 1, level 2, level 3, and level 4. 4 is obviously an unrealistic level. It's kind of just what happens from time to time. So it tends to happen at least like once to twice a month. So the best thing that we can do is trying to be realistic, is trying to buy low. So within level 1 to level 2, obviously if we have the chance of buying below 150, that would be the goal. I'd say buying, ideally within 140 to 130 would be the safest bet. That's when I have my alert set for INBT. So once it goes sub 145 to sub 140, that's when I'm going to be issuing my trades to buy for INBT, because I have the safest and the most potential to make money off of that. And then hopefully, that kind of answers you guys. So I'm going to wait till it goes below 150 and try to buy within like 135 to 140. I feel like that's realistic. And then be selling hopefully for a 10 to 20% gain. I feel ideally when it tends to shoot up, if it just gets a little momentum up, there's a good area of resistance around the 165 range. So I feel like that's a safe area to sell at. If not, then you can kind of go for these big these big just launches. But realistically, I don't think that's going to continue to happen within every single month. Give me one quick second. Alrighty. And then, do we have any other members on the call as of now, or is it because I think Speak is acting a little different right now based on the last time we used it? Let's see how many people we have on the group here. On there. Okay. All right, let's get back into it. So that's INBT. So what I would suggest for you guys is, for those especially that are just getting into trading, kind of just have a little piece of paper next to you and jot down these stocks that we're going to be talking about. So INBT was a hot topic. We just went through a little technical analysis. This video is still going to be available after I end this call within 20 minutes. And then you guys can review whatever we spoke about and get that piece of paper, kind of write down the stock, write the lows, write the highs. And then just the technical analysis that we're going through, and set your alerts according to that. So like, let's say, for example, INBT. When it comes to trading this right now, sitting around that 152 mark, as you can see right here, I would set my alert around 145. So when it goes below 145, it alerts me, letting me know that, like it's in the game, for me at least. So hopefully for you guys as well. Did you guys hear that at all or no? Okay, perfect. Alrighty. Okay, so that's for INBT. So just jot down kind of for this week, so you guys can put, well, today I believe is the 26th, so June 26th, and we have 5 trading days. So I believe this month is going to end on the 1st, or let's see. Yeah, so it's going to end on the 1st, so you can kind of get a little bit more organized. I mean, I know it sounds kind of, just basic, but when it comes down to trading, the more organized you are, the easier it is going to be for you to kind of stay on track with everything and not get so overwhelmed. And then I feel like you guys will build a trend. So let's go into DAGP. DAGP is still one that has a lot of potential. I feel for those who got that were allowed to, or, that bought in at 11 cents per share. That is amazing. The lowest it usually hits is 11.5, as you can see here. And the reason I said 11.5, like I did on the GroupMe, is just based on the history. That's actually where it sat at, or right about here. It hit that 11 mark. So the really cool thing that I see here is that pretty much we're kind of repeating what happened. Is that there's a big spike and a big spike right here, and then it kind of bleeds down. And that's kind of what we're seeing here. There's a big spike and then a big spike, and then it bleeds back down. And as what you can see here, I mean, midweek, hopefully for this week, I would say the reason I said I was going to sell at 13 is essentially because of this. There's an area of resistance around 12, but once it passes 12, it looks like it tends to settle around that 13 mark, that 13 cent mark. So let's say you buy 1,000 shares at 11 cents, and then you sell at 13 cents. With that 2 cent gain, just a 2-day hold can essentially bring you in $200. So with that being said, with 1,000 shares, you have that potential. And based on this, DACP being such a low-cost stock, it really allows day traders that have smaller accounts to make the most amount of money. So this is definitely one that I would write down for the watch list for this week when it comes to trading. And for those that were able to buy in at 11 cents, that is great. I really don't think it's going to go below 11. So we're going to kind of see on Monday how it plays out. If it ends up going below 11, then that's essentially bad news based on if we go a little bit further back, it has hit, the lows of 7.5 cents. So if it goes below 11 cents, then I'd say just based on its history, it's going to continue to decline. So we're going to set our 10% loss, which kind of allows us just to control our losses a little bit better, which is very helpful, to be able to make money. Because if you can control how much money you lose, then you can definitely control how much money you make overall. So that's simply, my analysis on DACP. So hopefully you guys followed on that. So I'd say a good buy in around 11 cents. Let's wait around Monday to see if we should buy and sell and hold for 13 cents. If we see some upward momentum, obviously it's a hold, and hopefully, in hoping of being able to sell at 13 cents. But if not, then right away we're gonna let you guys know that if it goes sub 11 cents, then most likely it would be time to sell. So we're gonna set a 10% stop loss around 11 cents, and we can kind of go from there. But yeah, definitely a great buy for those who got filled there. And then now we're gonna go to Eagle. I feel like kind of how Friday played out was great when it came to how I kind of predicted everything, everything that I was talking about, like, where the resistance and the safety levels were, kind of played out very well. Eagle is definitely one that has so much potential just based on this, 1 month increment. If you guys see that at 47 cents, we are at almost a 42-week low. So if we go to 3 months, the lowest it's been is around like 35 cents. But if we go into a 1 month increment, we are at the lowest it's been. It usually tries to stay around, above 50 cents. But it has touched below and then ends up going back up. So as I spoke to one of my coworkers about, I feel like Eagle has so much potential for those who bought in at that certain point. So you see there's a huge area of a huge safety net right here, and a pretty good area of resistance around 53 cents. If you kind of just want to buy and sell and learn the basics, I'd say set your limit order to sell at 53 cents. For those that kind of want to do a longer hold, because Eagle definitely does have that potential. I'd say a good place to sell would be essentially around this point. So if we go ahead and then we draw our resistance area, right about 60 cents to 65 cents tends to be a pretty good area to sell. Or like let's say like a 1 week hold, and then you can kind of profit off of that. But if you kind of just want to learn the basics, then I'd say set your limit order to sell at 53 cents. And that is our technical analysis for Eagle. So great buy-in, great sell. Again, try to shoot for that 10%. Just keep yourself disciplined. I know 10% isn't necessarily what everyone wants to make, but once you set your, once you understand that, look, you could make 10% continuously for, a month, then that's when you can kind of determine that you're a little bit more of a skilled trader. So when it comes to you kind of shooting for 20%, then you're going to wait for a more profitable buy-in. So let's say you want to make a 20% gain, then you can do, this 2 week hold and hopefully sell at that 60 cent mark. And then when it comes to that, hopefully you'll be trading with a larger account, so you'll be bringing in, like hundreds of dollars. So again, that's our technical analysis. This is definitely one that is one to look out for. And again, we're going to set our stop loss around 10 to 15% to protect our gains for Eagle. LPCN. This is one that was introduced to us by our good friend Zach and also Henry. So for those who don't know, let's go ahead and go back. LPCN is definitely one that has a lot of potential, just based on this analysis. So they were talking about that it's at a 52-week low. Well, it hit a 52-week low. This is a 5-day increment. So let's say we go 1 month back. You see that it tends to play around, that $8 to $9 mark. But based on what they were telling me, and I'm going to look into this a little bit more, is that they're kind of trying to wait for an FDA approval, and once that FDA approval, is accepted, then that's kind of what's going to lead to, a huge kind of just spike within this company overall. So they were hoping for one of the largest spikes that this company has ever had, and that's actually going to be close to a 1-year spike. So they're hoping for a $20. That's kind of, when I spoke to Zach, he said that he really believes that it's going to be coming back to that $20 mark, which would be ideal. But in reality, like if you see just based on 5 years, it hasn't hit this too often. It's hit it once, twice, 3 times, almost, a 4th time, and then hopefully here. But as you can see, it's gone under and then it spiked up again. So it definitely has potential. And if what they're saying is true, then, it definitely has potential to, for you to make money off of them. So, I mean, that's not even just, 100% gain. That's 150% gain. So let's say you have $1,000, you're going to make, $1,500 when it comes to that. So you'll have $2,500 in your account just by trading with 1,000. But, again, do your own research, make sure you look into LPCN. But this is definitely one to look out for, not only because, it has huge potential when it comes to what they're saying, but overall, I mean, if it's a 52-week low, then you have potential for it to spike up. So let's say you trade with $1,000, at least that it will progress eventually to that $8 to $9 mark. So I'd say that's a good level to shoot for. So I'd say a good buy-in for myself. Let me go ahead and set that. A good buy-in for myself. I think it would have a lot of potential. I think I would wait a little bit more to the 650. I guess 680 isn't bad, but around the 670 mark is where I would like to buy in. And hope to at least be able to ride it to this first area of resistance. And then kind of from there, it looks like the next area of resistance. So if we take this one, actually, let's take this one. It looks like there's an area of resistance right there. So after we pass this, we're going to have to struggle around that $8.15 to $8.20 mark, and then we kind of have to go above that. But if they're talking about the spike, you're not even going to see it kind of show. We're just going to see a huge spike up to the, $20 mark or $19.80, and then that's pretty much hopefully how LPCN plays out. So stay updated with this one. And there is one other one that we don't talk about too much, and that is Ford. I believe it was one that was brought up on our GroupMe application, and it was just by different members. But when I took a look at Ford, so this is Ford Motor Company, obviously a huge company. So I'm going to change this up to kind of to my preference. I do candlestick standard, and then I apply. You can see it has a huge, safety net around 11.14, right? I mean, that's great. But with that being said, right now, if we go to 6 month, kind of technical analysis, right now it's sitting at around 12.5, which is a good safety net, as you can tell based on its history. It's a good safety net. Obviously, there's potential for it to go down, even to that $11 mark, but it definitely has upward potential when it comes to going up. So if it's down here, you can at least ride it to that 1350 mark. So this is definitely one that I would put on your watch list, especially when it comes to trading larger companies. So this could be something for more of your 401k. So when it comes to obviously Ford being a huge national company, I really feel like it's going to go back to where it's at. So when it comes to trading this isn't a penny stock. This is actually a long-term hold. So if you can go from $12 to $13, when you talk about percentage-wise, I believe that's a 10% gain. So based on average 401ks, they tend to progress like the stock market at 3.5%. So when it comes to trading Ford, and if you can have a 10%, you have 10% potential, and you're trading with your 401k that can hold $10,000 to $100,000 depending on where you are with your 401k, then that will really increase by 10%. So $100,000, you'll make $10,000. With $1,000, you make $100. But at least you're beating the rate of inflation. You're beating the average price or the average increase of the stock market. And that's my opinion on Ford. This is definitely one that I'm going to kind of switch my 401k to. and see how that one plays out. But definitely a lot of potential. I'd say it has a really strong area of, or a strong safety net right about here. I'm going to kind of see how it plays out on Monday. If it starts to go below, then I know this is a good buy, and then possibly I'll set my limit order around 1150 just so I can get filled and then ride it up. And right there, I'm looking at 20 to 25% gain. But yeah, that's pretty much our technical analysis. So again, we went through Ford, LPCN, Eagle, DACP, and INBT. I'm going to wait about 10 to 20 seconds and see if any of you guys have any questions about what we spoke about today. But that's pretty much it. So I kind of just want to have these meetings, every Sunday, just so we can all be on the same track when it comes to see what we're trading. It doesn't mean this is all what we're going to be trading, but as of now, this is what we see with the most potential with. And then later on within the week, we'll be gathering a couple more, picks. And then with that, we'll talk next Sunday, and then we'll kind of go from there. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and wait and see if you guys have any questions. And if you guys have any questions, you guys can ask me on GroupMe. You guys can ask me on. Let me go ahead and, yeah. Okay. Sweet. Eagle and DACP? Sweet, sweet. So did you buy in with us on Friday? Okay, sweet. But I mean, do you understand it's not only like, something that I recommend, but do you see why it came out to me finding potential, at 11 cents? And then that's for DACP, and then for Eagle, being at that pretty much at one. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And when you look at DACP, so in this technical analysis I have pulled up, I mean, when it usually plays out, it's around 13 to 14 cents, at least within the past month. That's usually where it tends to play around. I mean, if we kind of look at this, and there's three stages right now. There's an 11 to 13 cent stage. There's a 13 to the 14 cent stage, and then there's a 14 and above, right? 14, and when it goes above that, it usually tends to hit like 16 to 18 cents. And that usually happens, like if you look at the graph that I'm looking at right now, when it tends to hit those lows of like 11 cents, that's when you see the biggest spikes right after, just because the people that know how to read these graphs see so much potential in DACP based on the price that it's currently at, that they just hold, and that's kind of what drives people and drives the prices up. So I feel with DACP, you're definitely there's a good buy-in, at least for what we can read here. So we're just gonna have to wait till Monday, see what happens. But yeah, I think 11.5. I mean, I think you even got a better buy-in than I did, and most of us. I know only a few got bought in at 11 cents. And even though I do want to talk to you guys about one thing, even though it says 11 cents, and you see this very thin line of 11 cents, that actually doesn't mean. I mean, these candlesticks, when you see that full bar, that shows how many people got filled at that. So those people that got filled at 11 cents are very few. As it barely touched that. So most of the people that got filled usually bought in around 11.7 to 12 cents, and those are the main people. So if you're in this thin line where it kind of plays out, then you got a great buy, and that's kind of something that I just wanted to explain, because I mean, you can set your limit order right now for 11 cents, but it doesn't mean that anyone's going to be selling at that based on not a lot of people getting filled. And that's something that we're going to talk to you guys a little bit later. That's about the depth. And that's something that I'm going to be sharing within this next week. When it comes to my TD Ameritrade app, I can actually see the depth and my actual, so when I trade like Robinhood, or when I trade through Fidelity, you actually see my order like publicly. Like I can see my order of like me trying to sell 12,000 shares of DACP. on the stock market. And that's really cool because I can see my order as, and it has me under like Robinhood, it has me under Fidelity. So that's definitely something I want to show you guys, just so you guys kind of do your own technical analysis and kind of branch off, and then we can start sharing more ideas and more picks of the week, so we have a higher success rate when it comes to trading. But yeah, we're right about that 30-minute mark for our meeting. I do want to thank you guys again for joining us. For those who did, I am going to leave this video up for those who want to watch it, so I'm going to be posting it on our Facebook. And if you guys have any other questions, please feel free to reach out to us. The link is going to be down below where you can join us on Facebook, and then from then on we can kind of do a call. I can see what you guys want from Techbuds, and then from there we add you to our GroupMe app, which is where the people who are actively trading kind of just share our ideas and kind of branch off from there. So that's pretty much it. So do you guys have any other questions? And I know there's about a 10-second delay because I'm on Speak, which is a call, a group call, and then I'm also on Google Hangout, which is through YouTube. So do you guys have any last questions? Okay, perfect. Well, thanks again for those who joined us, and for those who are watching and didn't have the chance to join us just based on like the last minute thing. Feel free to watch this video if you guys have any questions. Just hit us up on Facebook. Also, just comment below, and then for those who are in our GroupMe app, just message me there. You guys can DM me, and then we can kind of go from there. So thank you guys again for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed your Sunday. And we are going to be up at least here in Arizona. Stock market opens at 6:30 a.m. All the way to 1 p.m. For our time. I know it's a little bit later where most of you guys are at. So yeah, thank you guys again for joining us, and happy Sunday. Take care. Thank you, John. Take care. Bye.